What's good, guys? This is your boy Peter. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and subscribe because I'm on a road to 1,000 subscribers. Um, Also, make sure that you leave a comment. Just throw your comment down there. Just let me know what you think about this video, and also click on the like button. Okay, so yeah, just go ahead and support your boy over here. Okay. Now, as you can see, I'm inside the Flyway website, and I'm going to be teaching you about Flyway. And to start with, Flyway is an open source database migration tool that helps developers to manage and automate the process of applying database changes. Okay. Now, I want you to imagine you have a computer program that needs to store and manage a lot of information, like a list of names or a collection of photos. And to do that, you need a database, which is like a specialized, organized storage space for your information. Now, let's say you want to make changes to the database over time. For example, you might want to add new field to store your friend's age or create a new table to organize your photos. And this is where Flyway comes in. Now, Flyway is a tool that helps you to manage and keep track of these changes in your database. It allows you to easily make updates to your database structure without losing any existing data. It helps you to maintain the integrity and consistency of your data as your program evolves. Now think of Flyway as a handy assistant that keep a record of all the changes you make to your database. It tracks every changes you make, such as creating a new table, modifying an existing table, and adding a new data. It keeps these changes organized and ensures that all of everything is applied correctly whenever you need to update your program or database. So Flyway also helps you to work with other developers. You might be making, other developers who might be making changes to the same database. It allows you to collaborate and merge your changes smoothly, avoiding conflict and ensuring that everyone is on the same page. Okay, so basically that's what Flyway does. Okay, but for us to start with Flyway, we're gonna go ahead and add Flyway in our project. Now, assuming that you have a project that is up and running, for me, I created a project using Spring Boot, and this is a backend project. Okay, and this is the class that is mounted to our database with these properties. We have ID, email, and password. We're gonna be using this in a few, okay? Because I'll need this information when I'm creating a table manually, okay? So the first thing that you need to do is just go straight to pom.xml down here. And inside our dependency, I want us to add a dependency, and the dependency is flyway.co, and then it comes from org.flywaydb. Understand? And for this thing to be applied, you need to run. You need to click on this to reload, and it's gonna reload everything. Okay, so let's go back again to our user, and we're gonna run our application one more time. Okay, just to see if there's any change that has happened. So if I'm gonna run this project one more time, just give it a second. So my project is up and running. We have Tomcat starting at 8080, and we have this information here. No migration was found. So this information is coming up because we just installed Flyway inside our project. Okay, then it says successfully validated zero migration, so there's no any migration that we have created. Okay, and current version of schema public is an empty schema, so we're gonna go ahead and create a table and then use that and apply that table. Okay, so manually, that is manually. Okay, so the first thing that I need to do is just below inside these resources over here, inside these resources over here. So I want you to right click, go to new, and then create a new directory and call it db. Okay, I think we have it already. Now inside this db over here, I want you to right click, go to new, and then directory, and then I want you to call this my my creation, just like that. Okay, so we have the resource, inside resource folder we have db, and inside db we have migration. So inside the migration, let's create a new file, and I want this file to be v1, standing for version 1. Okay, underscore underscore, make sure you type um the name exactly as how I'm typing it, because naming of these files follows a certain protocol. Okay, so it starts with version 1 and then underscore underscore, and then I'm gonna go ahead and say initial. Okay, initial, and then underscore setup. Okay, then I'm gonna say dot sql, then I'm gonna click on enter. So in most cases, when you start with Flyway, it will always give you this information here. It will always um, give you this information here where it says SQL dialect is not configured. So change the dialect to, so if you come here to global SQL dialect, I need you to change this to Postgres, and also project SQL dialect, I want you to change it to Postgres, and then I want you to click on OK. Okay, that is if you're using Flyway for the first time. Okay, so the next thing that I need to do is that I need to create a table. This table, this information here is what I will use to create a table manually, okay, inside our database. So I'm gonna right click this and say split to the right. Okay, so I can be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna say create. Okay, and then I'm gonna say table, and then the name of the table is users. Let's say, let's give it a name. What's the name of the table? Let's call it users. Let's just call it users. Okay, or user. Okay, I mean users is much better. Okay, then after that, the next thing inside here, I'm gonna write some properties, and the first property we have is id here. So I'm gonna type id, and for my id to be auto generated, I'm gonna type big serial, just like that. And then this one is gonna be primary, and then key. Okay, so that means the id will be auto generated. So let's work clear the syntax. Then down here we have the email, and we see that the email nullable is false, so that the email needs to be there. Actually, email has to have information in it, so that's why we're saying nullable is equals to false. So what I'm gonna do is that I'll type email, just like that, and then I'm gonna say text. This is a text. It's a text because we have a string down here. A string shows that this is a text, and then this is not null. Okay, so that means it's supposed to be having information in it. Okay, then after that, let's move on to password. So I'm gonna say password, just like that, and then the password is still a text, and then is not null, just like that. Okay, so for these changes to be applied, I'm just gonna go ahead and run this application just like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and run. So for the changes to take place, I have an error. I don't know what the error is talking about, but I can see that there's a user that already exists. So I think previously when I was working with Flyway, I created this and I forgot to delete it. So I'm inside my database over here. So what I'm gonna do is that I'll say uh, drop table, and then the table, what's up with me? Table, and then the table is uses. Then as you can see, I've dropped the table already. So that means the table has been deleted. Let's see if I run this project. I hope it's gonna apply it up. So this is great. That's nice. As you can see, we have a new table that has been already created. Okay. So if I go down here, Tomcat starts at 8080. And then initially we had zero migration, but right now, because we have applied our table, so we have one migration that has happened. Okay. And then migration, um, is now at version 1. As you can see, we have v1 over here, so it's now at version 1. Now let me give you an example just in case we want to add a new property down here and say, let's say we need to add a name. Just say name, and then let's say the name is gonna be text, and then not uh null, just like that. So if I do this and click on apply and run my project, this will fail. Let me show you. It's gonna fail. You see? So the reason why it's failing is because once you apply the first migration, it is it's impossible for you to go ahead and edit the same table and add more information into it. It's gonna fail. So what you have to do is that you need to go down here and create version 2, version 2 of this table, and then add whatever you want to add. Okay, and then go ahead and apply. But you cannot apply changes to a version that has already been applied. Okay, so that is next to impossible. So I felt like that is very important for me to tell you. So you see, I took out the property. So if I run this application, it's gonna be okay. Everything will work correctly. Will it be actually? Okay, let me see. I have to take this out, the comma. So let's go ahead and run it one more time. So as you can see, everything is up and running, and then validation of one migration that has happened. Okay, so let's go ahead and do what we call inspect our user table using the terminal. So I'm inside. Let me first get outside my database slash Q. Okay. So I'm outside my database. Okay. Now, if you want to learn how to connect your application to database that is running on Docker, I have a course for that. Just go through my courses and you will find a course that will teach you how to create a database and run it inside Docker. For mine, this database is running inside Docker. And for that, I need to do a Docker run so that I can get connected to my database. It's going to ask me for a password. I'm going to apply my password and I'm inside my database. So I need to connect to database, and the database name is Facebook. Okay, this is my data name that I created. Now you're not connected to database Facebook. Now I want us to show to check the list of relations in the table. So I'm gonna do a slash D. Okay, and if I do that, you will see the list of relations. So we have Flyway schema, which is type table, and then we also have user ID sequence that has already been created. Then we also have this table here that we have already created, and the type is table. So what I'm gonna do is that I will say /d and then type uses, this one here, so that I can be able to get inside my table. So if I do that, I'm inside my table, and you see we have three columns: ID, email, and password. Okay, the ID, even though we specified this as big serial, it turns out to be big int, because this is how it's supposed to be. Okay, and then it's nullable, it's not null. Okay, that means it has information. Email and password, they both have information. And then we have this next val. Next val means the next value. It's automatically generated. Okay, now let's check how we can move to the next value. Okay, and for us to do that, I want you to type select. Okay, and then type next val, just like that, and then open the brackets, and then I want you to write this here, this information here, control C, and then I'm gonna paste it inside there, and then I'm gonna close it. So if I run this code over here, it's gonna take us to the next value. Understand? Let me show you how it works. So if I click on this, you see we have the next value, which is 1. If I run the same command, you see that we have our next value, which is 2. If I run the same command, we see that we have our next value, which is 3. So basically, this means that it will take us to the next ID. Okay, and as you can see, that's what we have done here. Okay, now if you want to inspect the user ID sequence, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna say /d, sorry, /d, and then I'm gonna type users underscore ID underscore sequence. So this is if I need to inspect my user. Sorry, I have typed it wrongly. So users. So as you can see, we have the type of this ID here, which is big int, and it starts at 1. As you can see, it started at 1, and the minimum is 1. So you cannot go less than 1, or you don't have 0. We only have the minimum as 1. And the maximum number is this number here. It's a big number actually. Okay. So this is how far your ID can go. Okay. And then the increment is 1. Okay. And the cycle is no, and then the catch is 1. Okay. Then the next thing, if we want to get the current value, okay, if we want to get the current value inside our database, so what I'm going to do is that I have to type select, and then I want to type CURR VAL. That stands for current value. Then after that, I'm going to copy this information over here, this one, control C, the current value, okay? And then I'm going to put some semicolons and then click enter. As you can see, our current value is 3. So if I type the next value here, it's going to move to 4. And then if I go down here and type the current value, you will see that the current value is 4, okay? Now, let's say we want to insert a value in our database. Let's say we want to insert a value in our database manually, which we never do. We don't insert values manually, but just in case, because of this video and you need to learn how to do this stuff, we're gonna learn how to insert manually our values. Okay. Uh, so let's say we want to insert a value in our database manually using the terminal. Okay. So what we need to do is to write this command here. So this is the command that we're gonna write, this one over here. I don't need to type it all. So we have email and password. and email and password is this one, what we have here, email and password. And we need to write some information inside our email and password. So what we do is that we say insert into users email and password. So we are inserting into our table email and password, and the values are email and the password. But I also need to change to and use this how do you call this? Are there apostrophes? Okay, instead of using the lookalike column, the lookalike commas. I'm not really quite sure how you call these actually. I'm not really quite sure how you call this over here. So once you do that, just click on enter, and you will see that we have already inserted one information, one value inside our user. So to check if we have done that, just type select and then star, select and then star from, and then the table, which is the users, just like that, and then click on enter. And you can see that ID 5, this information has been added in. Understand? Now, one thing you have to understand is that we should never increment the value by ourselves. This is for learning purpose. So for us to reset our customer value to one, because we are in five, ID five, for us to reset our customer value to one, we need to run this command here, this command over here, and go ahead and let me delete this. Okay, so go ahead and type this. Okay, as you can see, we are saying select set value, a user ID, which is one, and then it's supposed to be four. So if I click that, we are going back again to one. Understand? So we go back again to ID one. I hope you really understand this information over here. I hope you clearly understand what I just did. Okay. And then the next step is that let's say we want to let's say we want to have a unique constraint. A unique constraint means that we want our email to be different, because emails are supposed to be different. They're never the same. Okay. Password can be the same. Okay. But the emails are not supposed to be the same. So let's say if we, in case we have two emails that look alike inside our database, let's create a unique constraint that will that will uh, that will reject an email that looks the same as another email. Understand? Let's say if my email is PN, okay. So I don't want to be in a situation where I have the same email as PN. It doesn't work like that, okay? So for us to be able to do like that and for us to apply that change over here, I need to create a new version. As I told you, once you apply this version, it's very, very hard for you to go ahead and edit this version. Okay. So what we're gonna do is that we need to create a new version, and this new version is gonna be version 2. Okay. And for us to achieve that, I'm gonna just do a copy, and then I'm gonna do a paste, and then I'm gonna change this to version 2. And then what we need to do is we need to add unique constraint. So I'm going to say add, okay, and then there's capital letter add, and then underscore, and then I'm going to say unique, okay, and then underscore, and then I'm going to say constraint, constraint, just like that. And then I'm going to add it to and then I'm gonna add it to users, just like that. Okay, so let me I'm going to add it to the user table. So I'm going to click OK. And then after that, we have version 2, but I need to delete this one over here, this information over here. And then I'm going to go ahead and say alter, just like that. Alter the table, and then the table is users, just like that. Okay. And then down here, I'm going to say add constraint. Okay, and then I'm gonna say users underscore email. So we are adding our constraint to our email, and then it's supposed to be a unique one. Okay, unique. Okay, and then it's supposed to be actually unique. So I'm gonna type unique, and then the unique is the email. Email is supposed to be unique. So I'm gonna type email, just like that. Okay. Then after I do that, I'm gonna run my application. Okay, and you will see the second migration being applied. Okay, and if I run this application here, you will see that we have successfully applied for the second migration. So the first one was version 1 of the migration, but you can see we successfully validated second migration. Okay, migration schema public to version 2. So we are into version 2, and version 2 we have been able to add a unique constraint inside our email. So let's go ahead and check that out. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna do slash d, okay, and then I'm gonna do a slash d, and then I'm gonna type users. Okay, then if I do that, as you can see here inside our table, we have a user primary key, which is user email, which is unique over here. So we can never ever have the same email that look alike. Okay. To demonstrate that, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna run this application here. I'm gonna run this, okay, and I'm gonna make sure that all our emails are the same. Okay, so I'm gonna run this, and I'm gonna make sure that our emails are the same, so that you can be able to understand what we do. So we have this one. We have added this in. Let me check. No, no, no. So we have bar dot at gmail.com dot, and then this is the password over here. I'm gonna go ahead and add the same email, this, and the next ID with the same email, like that exactly. So I'm gonna click on enter. It tells us duplicate key value violates unique key constraint. So it cannot allow us to add an email that looks alike. If I want to add an email, or if I want to add an ID, I need to make sure that the email does not look alike. So if I put one here and then click enter, and it's gonna go in. Okay. So, guys, basically, that's how we work with unique constraints. Okay. I mean, that's how we work with Flyway. Okay. And that's how we are able to maneuver from version 1 to version 2. Okay. So, guys, if you like this video, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. More content coming through. Thank you.